it's going to be fun as we redo this to figure out how to solve the problems ahead of time. And that's really the key to building well outdoors. Hello and welcome to another episode of Exteriors by Gary Willock. We are indeed working on this deck up above. It's a nice outdoor porch area with a deck above, full length, full size of the patio below. It's an absolutely wonderful space. In fact, as the direction that it faces misses the heat of the summer sun in Texas, and it's a very usable space if it was not rotted and you could walk on it. Now today I'm going to be talking about how to plan, how to prepare, and honestly, in our business, in the repair business, whether it's interior or exterior or complete renovations, whatever you do, it's really about problem solving. And the problem solving needs to happen as it's built or before the project begins. There's some give and take on each way of that, but as the rule of thumb goes, remodel tends to be a plan while you do it process. It's hard to pinpoint an exact price that way, but if you don't do it that way and you start out with a whole set of plans, it inevitably costs more to do it that way because there's so many unknowns. The only thing that we had left, this was all built out of redwood some time back, and I'm taking you this way so you can actually see over to the side here by this fence. But there's a little pile of wood there, and that's all that was left after we tore out a tremendous amount of redwood. And here's a couple of pictures I'll throw in that we took much earlier as they were taking the job apart. But there just wasn't a lot left. And poor planning almost destroyed these major columns that went up. Now I say this is kind of a complex project because it is a ceiling with ceiling joists, and then it is a floor for the deck with floor joists. Sandwiched in between there is the area that roofing needed to take place. And the first time around, it was really not planned well. We're gonna go up on top and you'll see why I'm laughing. It really was just done real poorly. Now we'll make another video down the road as we install our roof system on it. We'll capture that, show you exactly how we did it. But this video today is about how to plan. And I'm going to throw some ideas at you that we're going to be doing. This is in the planning stage now that we've got it open enough. We know where the rotting is. We know what has to be taken care of. And we're working on the exact plans. We're working now to complete the exact budget on this. Let's go up on top and you'll kind of get an idea what we found when we opened up this mess. Here we are on the deck. And you can see the flashing that we installed temporarily. Actually, it's not temporary. The flashing that we installed on an emergency basis to stop water from going inside the houses. And of course, the black paper, after they tore off the floor joist the other day, the black paper. And of course, what is most amazing is how bad this metal was that they tried to make their water seal of the ceiling down below. And of course, it never worked. You can tell by the extra pieces that apparently have been added that's not even underneath the flashing here. And this is really pathetic. I mean, that's just aluminum. This is no way to keep it from leaking. Now to come back and rebuild this when it failed, and really it failed at about 12 years, they've left it out here another 7 or 8 years waiting to figure out what to do with it. But you just don't want to build something like this. And with the wood, there's very little that's left to use, and I would never cut into a post in an outside area, outside being exposed to weather, where things sit into it like this. You can see how these posts just started sucking water up and rotting away. You want to make sure that your posts are protected. You always either want some sort of a solid cap, which they did not have, or you want to cover them up completely, or you want them to have them enclosed like the ones down below that do not have exposure to the weather and the elements like this. But as you can see, It's just not a good way. Even though this is redwood, and it is redwood, it's not going to last in an outdoor situation like this. Redwood is not what it was in the 60s and 70s, and yeah, I've been around a while, and it is not going to last in this climate very long. Now we've got to redo all the flashings, pans under the doors, flashing around the windows. It needs some sort of a house wrap behind here. It does not have. And so any nail hole, any joint in the siding leaks, any place they have trim, these trims have been removed, and there was not anything even behind the trim boards at the inside corners, the outside corners. And so this walls were just leaking. The damage to the hardwood floors is just a sad thing, because it's not just $10,000. It's going to be substantially more to fix those floors on the inside where water got inside. It always amazes me how little you save for a short period of time when you take these kind of shortcuts. Planning is the key. What we are all about in the remodel business should be simply problem solving. How do you install this? Has to be one of the key questions. How do you install this so you know it's going to last? That's the theme of exterior renovation or building when it was new, like this one was. You've got to constantly be looking at it as you're a problem solver. Just adding it, cutting big holes into the side of the beam to put the next beam, and then they just nailed 2 2x10s together, called that a beam. It's really just sad craftsmanship. It's just not right. Homeowners look at it, it's new wood going up, and they don't realize it's going to start rotting day one by sucking up water, because you've left so much open grain exposed to the elements. And so that's what exterior renovation, that's what exterior remodeling really requires, is you have to think as you go. You have to plan. You have to prepare for the problems that are going to come if you do not prepare well. And this one wasn't prepared well, and the damage is not only on the outside, which this is going to be some money. Just the Ipe floor alone, I think the material was $4,000 for just the decking material and the round piece that goes over the top there and the rail that goes across the top, not counting the labor, installation, all the parts and pieces that go with it. But start thinking about what that did to the inside. The walls are going to have to be taken apart down below to get this done correctly. The kitchen cabinets have to come out along the wall and the floor below. The floor is so badly damaged and warped up, it all has to be sanded down, refinished completely, cabinets reset. That shortcut saved nothing. The owner that owned it then still owns it today, and it's really, really sad that somebody got away with this, but this happens all the time. The key to this business is hire somebody that thinks, hire somebody that takes a lot of pride in what they do, and you can tell that. Almost inevitably, they're going to have a lot of pictures, show you things they did, and they're going to have some reasoning that when you talk to them and ask them questions, you're going to see them click and think, how can we do this? What is the best way to do this? And that's the kind of guy that you want to hire. I'm always looking for good guys to work for me like that. You should look for a good guy to work for you like that too. We'll show you more of this deck as it comes along, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful when it's done. There's going to be several things involved, and I think it's going to be in several phases. There's going to be some landscaping, hardscaping with the wood deck, the wood steps down below coming off the concrete patio are going to be upgraded to concrete and brick, and the wood that rots on the ground from the sprinklers and every rain is going to go away. Going to be a little bit more landscaping with some sidewalks that are extended and some things like that. So it's going to be a wonderful patio and deck coordination that is just going to be a big plus to this house. This has not been able to be used for nearly 10 years up here on this top section because it was so rotted away, and it had unfortunately also been leaking to the inside, a big problem that you never want to have. It's going to be fun as we redo this to figure out how to solve the problems ahead of time And that's really the key to building well outdoors.